Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCS Winter. We're moving into our decider match to see who is the next player to make it to that round-robin stage. My name is Fear Dragon. I am joined by Nathanius here at the desk now. What's up?
Not much, man. TvZ, good games, very interesting results in this group, and potential for the big upset.
So Zombie Grub was saying in the green room that she was thinking, you know what, there's a chance. HeroMarine's a little bit tilted now. What if he loses to Hateme here? You think that's possible?
Yeah, since he's playing out of a hotel on possibly some of the worst internet you can imagine.
And just lost the last 2 games to the most outright cheeses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see it happening as well. I'm really hoping that HeroMarine's able to kind of bounce back from this, so he's not gonna kind of get too down on himself. He's definitely got a lot of experience and stuff. Hateme, definitely the underdog moving into this, but has shown some pretty good play today as well. We'll see how this Terran versus Zerg is gonna be going as we jump into game number 1 on New Repugnancy.
That's right. It's time to get her done, Fear Dragon, as we're loaded into the southwest position. The blue Zerg player looking to upset everybody. He is Hateme. And maybe everyone will hate him if he eliminates all their favorite Terrans.
That is a fun thought, actually.
And by all their favorite Terrans, I mean the 2 Terrans.
Yeah, I actually, you just made me realize this is an elimination match for the last Terran.
Yeah, it's a bad day for the Zergs out there. The Terran whiners are going to be out in full force. In the top right, the red Terran player, he is HeroMarine. You can't have one Zerg player that most people don't know about knock out the only 2 Terrans, right, Fear Dragon? Right?
It's physically impossible.
Not possible.
I also really wonder if Hateme is watching that last series and says, "Oh, so you're not SCV scouting. You're Lambert's taking advantage of some pretty cool things here. I wonder if I have any cheeky builds under my arsenal."
Do the nightest, do it. Hate me, do it.
Yeah, of course. Generally, you can say like, oh, well, surely HeroMarine after that last series will adjust his play, but it's not always that easy, especially if you are used to saying, this is the way that I play all of my games. Then changing up your entire playstyle, your build orders of everything you were doing and practicing, it's not always the most feasible or easy thing to do. Sometimes you kind of are better off just saying, I'm just going to do what I usually do, and I just got to control it better. I just got to be a little bit more prepared, be a bit more adamant about scouting.
SCV scout this game.
Yep. This I like.
Yep. Because if he was, I guess he has to get a couple of lings out first, but you want that SCV to know if it's going to be the crazy fast lair.
Sees a drone at the natural, something he did not see in that last game with a Roach Ravager attack, and moves around looking for a 3rd base to see when that pops on down. The lings are on their way. There's the drone for the 3rd. Actually, is just going to go to the other 3rd base now.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. That Reaper is coming.
Nope.
No 3rd there. Not happening.
Yep, just makes
Forget about it.
The Queen's going to be popping out soon. The lings here to just buy a bit of time. HeroMarine, I don't think he's actually been able to get a whole lot. He's been able to keep his Reapers alive, but he hasn't really gotten a whole lot of damage done with the Reapers, so
no.
It's pretty rare to see that happen anyways.
I remember back in the day when the Reaper, back in the old days when it had a slower cooldown and did more damage, and it was like, yeah, it's pretty normal to lose at least one. Nowadays, Zerg players are like, no, you're not supposed to lose any drones at all.
You know what's interesting is I feel like that happens always. Whenever there's any new form of aggression or a unit that came out or some sort of new attack, it always starts off with, well, you need 25 worker kills to make this worth it. And then it gradually goes down to 10, and then 5, and then 2, and then we're like, you know, if you kill a ling or 2, it's okay. It's just funny how defenses get better.
Really sick drone snipe there.
Yeah. Denying actually the 3rd base for just a little bit longer.
This is Group B, and I was going to say it was Group B for Big Gade, but it could be Group B for Big Upset Fear Dragon. Saw a lot of support in the chat from my boy Hateme.
There is or isn't?
Saw a lot. There is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
The other
it's
half
cool
of the
to see
people
more.
are just talking about how Terrans are eliminated. But
Yeah. It's just cool to see more of these up-and-coming players starting to get some more results and everything. I'm a big fan of just seeing more players make some upsets. Reaper almost getting another drone over here is instead just going to go after some of the queens for a little bit. Finds the drone, doesn't right click. There it is. Gets it for his life. But still, Reaper getting some really good damage done.
Yeah. Definitely got the value he was looking for out of it. Lair's on the way. Baneling Nest is about to finish up. And the Overlord sees pretty much everything that you need to see. It's a naked starport, reactor factory, and the tech lab spinning on the barracks. So you assume that it's going to be stim, but otherwise that's it. It's like Hellion Liberator, Hellion Medevac maybe. Hellions are going to run by into the natural expansion. The Medevac is there, and 6 drones picked off so far, losing all but one of the Hellions.
Yep, Medevac sneaks its way in and picking that one last Hellion up. Nice, but one Hellion really doesn't do a whole lot by itself. And of course, with the factory no longer on the reactor, there aren't exactly too many more Hellions, just actually 2 more Hellions. The Lings going to be getting there right after the 3rd CC has been plopped down as a part of the wall in, so no run-by potential here, and just enough Marines that it feels like
can't get the surface area that you'd be looking for to try and get a denial on that as this Medevac makes its way back into the main base. The Overlord sees it. Zerglings are awaiting, and these Hellions are going to immediately get surrounded. Saves all 3 of them.
Narrowly saving that 3rd Hellion as well. And this means that Hateme is going to feel comfortable getting back to droning, getting up Baneling speed, and just focusing on that creep story, which, by the way, has not really been contested at all this game. Really, HeroMarine's been focusing on trying to get some of the run-bys done, and that's really maybe the first creep tumor he's actually killed this game, maybe? Yeah, first one.
There you go. Try to put a little bit of pressure on, but nothing doing past the initial drone attack. Still was a good grab to be able to get with those Hellions. I think the Liberator is still in play. Where are you? Yeah, she was just chilling.
Oh, yeah. Got pushed back very quickly, it looks like, by the Queen.
Yeah, Liberator did not actually get any kills either. So just kind of came in, tried to do something, and immediately backed off.
Hellion's going for another run by, but one of these Hellions is so softened up, they will be lucky to get, well, 2 workers or something. Get some links.
Not even bad. He grabs 3 Zerglings on the way out.
Very quick pickup.
Good micro from HeroMarine with this Medevac. Do you think he's feeling the rage? Do you think he's seeing the red mist at all, Fear Dragon?
And he's playing better and faster because he's so angry about it.
Well, it usually doesn't make you play better. It makes you play. You get like.
That's what Dragon Ball Z taught me, man.
But
Dragon Ball Z taught me if you want to be stronger, you just have to get angry.
I think they just shout. I don't know that they're actually mad. You just kind of scream really loudly.
No, Goku and Cell. Or sorry, yeah, Gohan and Cell.
Maybe.
Liberator does get 4 kills alongside the Hellion drop inside the main base. One of the Hellions, softened up one, does end up falling there. But like you said, good pressure. And now we got the Bio Forces making their way across the map. Stim is finished up. Combat Shield's about to finish as well. And we'll see if HeroMarine can actually get some more damage done with his first actually notable force, I would say.
There are Banelings. There is Baneling speed. So I'm not going to have like high hopes about this. I also really like that Hateme has been constantly trying to shark these counterattacks. Ooh. Look at that, gets on top of the siege tank. Great pickoff there.
Yep, and at the same time, HeroMarine focused on his Marines on the other side of the map. There's not a lot of creep going up to this low ground area. The Marines are picked up in time, though. Backs off. The Queen gets a couple of cheap shots off on the Medevac, so softens it up a bit. HeroMarine gonna try and push in from another angle. Denies a couple of creep tumors, but still some decent creep spread going here for Hateme.
Yeah, I like it. He's doing a solid job holding it together. And every tank that you pick off like that is huge. That's really, really nice. Delaying Terran's capability to siege you. That one tank could have gotten 2 or 3 shots off onto the Zerglings, maybe worse, the Banelings. And now Hateme's just going to get that infestation pit up. Hydralisk range is almost ready. Things I like for HeroMarine, though, his upgrade's looking pretty good, but it's going to be, this style is just so hard to push on creep against.
Yep. And as soon as those Marines move off the creep, we end up seeing Hateme just backing up because he has some space to work with. He's going for another one of these Ling run-bys. HeroMarine has definitely caught on to this, though, leaving a lot of Marines back at home, ready to defend his 3rd and his natural. Yeah,
what it means, though, is that HeroMarine can't really go for a parade push. If he does, then the counterattacks could become, you know, unstoppable at some point. We've got him sieging up from this low ground from the tasteless banana hallway.
One Ling actually soaks up a siege thing shot coming in from behind. Really, really well executed there. He has a couple of Banelings also morphing in from behind, but he needs to hold on a little bit longer. Hatchery has a lot of hit points to work with, but the Banelings trying to roll on in, not quite getting the connections, but now there's nowhere to run.
The Banelings from the back coming in, Fear Dragon, and the Marines splitting as well as they can, but a medevac does get picked off. The siege tanks, more importantly, die. And really, for Hateme, it just comes about keeping the Baneling count up. Does he have it? He just won. This is really dangerous. 37 Zerglings, but he needs to get that Bane count restored.
Yeah, he sees the big rally in. The second wave of the push is very scary. The Baneling's starting up over at this 4th base, but he's going to just jump on top of these. He's going to be able to snipe them off. He's not target firing them down just yet. Going after the drones, going after the Lings. And I guess if you kill the rest of the support, he can still make this work, because the siege tanks also get into a more offensive position. A lot of Marines going down, but all the Banelings are gone.
He does get a good amount of the Marines hit there, but everything else that was trying to buy time for those Banelings is dead, like the Hydras. And it's just going to be Zerglings trickling out now versus 2-2 Bio. 2-2 is finishing right as we speak, so these units that are coming out for Hateme, they're just not going to be able to do the damage that they need to finish this off. That 4th base is going to be dead, and Fear Dragon, I feel that Hateme may also be dead in this map.
Yeah, Hateme invested a lot into just specifically defending that 4th base, so losing it is a big blow, because he's still trying to get up some defenses to defend his 3rd base, but you can already see in the supplies that Hateme has fallen quite down, and HeroMarine pushing forward, looking so strong in this next series. Not tilted at all. GG.
Yeah, very well played game there. Hateme, bring out your cheese. Bring it out. I want one of those really fancy wooden platter type things that are like, you know, like half an inch thick, you know, like they bring out the real nice,
like the variety platter, or
yeah,
you want to
yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know. Got a little Gouda there, a little Swiss here, maybe some, it's got to be some sharp yellow cheddar. That's really important.
Okay, so you don't want just like one big plate, or like one big plate of cheddar.
It's a best of 3, so you can only try and max 3 cheeses, and we didn't get a cheese the first game, so it's maybe it's 2 cheeses right now, and
it's
like
right after dinner, everyone's still a little bit full.
It's like there's 2 cheeses, and then there's a bit of like salami on the side. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe pepperoni.
No, wrong person to have that metaphor with. Actually, yeah, I'm actually the wrong person to have a cheese platter discussion with.
That's fine.
Yeah. But we are moving into game number 2. Currently, HeroMarine sitting up 1-0, and that does put him in a position where he is 1 game away from being able to advance on. Hateme now in an elimination match. We'll see what he can muster up as that defense or maybe the offense.
This is everything for him.
But I do like that HeroMarine adjusted his play in that game and went for the SCV scout after the Lambo series, knowing that that is a potential there, knowing that he is the favorite and that he feels comfortable in those macro games. Hateme was doing a good job of trying to do those Ling run-bys and stuff, but yeah, I really do think that HeroMarine did a great job defending and deflecting all of those while continuing the pressure.
I want to see that Nidus build that he did against Uthermal. Bring it back. Bring back the Nidus.
Yeah. Do you
if it
feel
fails
like,
spectacularly, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like it is one of those builds that, based on how it went versus Lambo and stuff, obviously he let the supply depot down. Or actually, no, sorry, I'm thinking of the Roachborn game. With the Nidus Worm game, do you feel like there's something major that you wish HeroMarine had done, or like there's something really important just in general with Nidus Worm builds when you're defending as a Terran player you need to do if you're going to be able to defend it?
I mean, if you can catch a whiff of it coming, I mean, like getting like a bunker inside of your main base that's going to be within reasonable range is really important.
Yeah.
It is hard to do because the Nidus builds twice as fast as a bunker, so you're like, there's really no easy way to just like slap it down. You have to see the network under construction, and even then you're like, well, if it's like halfway done, you've got plenty of time. But doing stuff like that is really, really big, being able to preemptively have like workers ready. And I think you should always try to surround the Nidus with workers before it hatches, no matter what.
Yeah, I think also in that game, I remember losing the siege tank was a pretty big blow to him.
Yep.
We'll see if things pan out that way, if we get Nathanius' wish, or if things are going to change it up as we move in over here to the top left-hand corner of the map. Top of the red Terran player, he is Mouse Sports' HeroMarine.
The truth is, Fear Dragon, I'm just a sadist. I actually love the Nidus Worm, and I love watching people die to it because people get so angry about it. His opponent in the bottom right, the blue Zerg player. In the blue trunks, he's Hateme.
The literal blue trunks.
Yes. Did you see what I did there, Fear Dragon?
I like it. I like it.
That's right.
Okay, but Hateme just going for a good old hatch first. We're not going to.
And he goes gas, and then he goes pool, and he goes straight to lair. Oh,
yeah.
The crowd goes wild.
But I mean, maybe this is just an adjustment. He's saying if he was ever even thinking about going for one of the earlier pools or going for the roach bust, seeing that
he got a
free
free
tank. SCV scout.
He got a free tank kill and an early 4th, and he could not stop the attack of HeroMarine. I think at this point you realize that Big Gabe is coming for you, and you're gonna have to do something a little spicier. You know, we're not picking up the mild salsa today, Fear Dragon. It's not gonna be enough. Not for this cold.
You're really craving Mexican food, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're just talking about that before this.
So we were talking about in the green room.
I know. Okay, well, HeroMarine not bothering with the SCV scout this game. Is just going to go for that command center on the low ground, rely on the Reaper to get that scouting information. At least, I guess, sending a signal to Hateme like, hey, I will SCV scout you, except when I don't. So maybe discouraging Hateme from doing the super early cheddars. But, like you said, it's going to be those slightly later ones that we will be keeping an eye out for. Where does he spend that gas? Is he going to just spend it on the usual Zergling speed? He'll have the gas for that very soon.
No.
No?
No Ling speed.
No? Lair? Just Lair?
Lair.
Super fast Lair?
Do it. I want to be like Chancellor Palpatine.
I also wonder if HeroMarine decides to just get a little more aggro with his Reaper this game. Just try and get some more scouting information.
Yeah. I mean, he's not really giving a reason to at the moment. I want him to get rid of the Reaper and then cancel Ling speed. You know what I'm saying?
That might be a big ask because
I know. I mean,
you have to finish the Reaper off before Ling speed finishes.
Yeah, that's not really possible.
Yeah.
This map is a little bit more possible to block the Reaper, but yeah, still tough.
Yeah. You'd have to have like the sickest snipe off with a Queen just ambushing the Reaper somehow. Doesn't usually happen, especially with a player like HeroMarine. So the Reaper stays alive. He gets a full scout in the main base. Ling speed is going to carry on forward. A third base thrown down. And, of course, on the other side of the map, we have HeroMarine getting his starport up and adding on just a few more Marines before maybe throwing down that tech lab eventually.
Yeah, playing a very standard, very vanilla TvZ opening.
Yeah, I mean, that's HeroMarine in a nutshell.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to go for, like, maybe the Viking to medevac or medevac first. There's not really any overlords on the map. There's just the one outside of the main that he already knows about. The Marines are over here like, yo, back off, buddy.
Yep.
And the overlord's like, I'm going to come over anyway. Stop me.
I'm just going to come in from a different angle.
You can't shot me. I'm going to see all your tech.
Hellions and the Reaper making their way forward. Just going to reconfirm. All right, you got your third base. You got your Queens. Not going to make a whole lot happening here, but it does force a cancel on one of those creep tumors. Nice cancel there for Hateme, but everything looking good, standard and normal. Sees the tech lab on the barracks and also the empty starport.
Yep, and it looks pretty much just like the last game. A lot of Zerglings on the way. He just cranked out like 20 or so. I guess worried about these Hellions because he's still getting some drones behind it, and he's getting the Baneling nest.
Yep, that's going to bring him up to about 22 or so Zerglings.
It's a bit more than I thought he would go to right now. But
yeah, playing it is very, very safe. Maybe he does just want to try and catch these Hellions and then use a few for the run-bys that he's been going for in the last game. We'll see.
yeah.
One creep tumor getting picked off. One Queen caught a little bit off of creep. Of course, has got a lot of hit points to work with, so shouldn't have any trouble there. It's just a lot of drones behind all this, so Hateme really is just trying to make sure he has enough Lings to respect the Hellions while he can drone up safely behind it.
Yeah, but look at this. So we got the drones that you were talking about, Hellions poking forward. But HeroMarine gets the Raven, third command center, and now 2 more factories. It was a fake Fear Dragon. It was a fake. He's actually going mech. Stim has been canceled. It's been put on hold.
Okay. And the Viking actually sniping off another. Yeah, usually not supposed to be able to get overlords in the main base, but sniping that off does momentarily supply block Hateme. Quickly unsupply block though. Ling's doing a good job pushing back any of those Hellions. And we'll see when Hateme is even going to realize that it is not in fact going to be Stim. And just Bio coming at him. How do you
good
usually
juke
feel if a Terran player is up against like a Baneling defense rather than a lot of the Roach plays that a lot of Zerg players like to do versus mech?
I think if you're HeroMarine, you kind of recognize that you could kill him right now if you had like just been cranking out like stupid numbers of Hellions. Really, get Blue Flame. He's going into Magfield Accelerator, so it's going to be like Cyclone memes. But even that is not necessarily bad. I think Blue Flame is more important because, like, as you've already pointed out, the lack of roaches just means that with enough Hellions, he could already kill him. Because really, all your main concern is the queens.
Yep.
And at that point, once you get enough Hellions, you can kill those too.
I wonder if Hateme is questioning not only how many Hellions there are, which this is a lot of Hellions just in general, but there's also the fact that there was a Hellion still back at home that just cleaned up a scouting Ling. Usually, if you're going to do this with this many Hellions, they're all at the front.
Yep. They should be getting an inkling
that
something is afoot.
Okay.
Something is wrong.
Adds on the Hydra Den. It finishes up, goes straight into the Infestation Pit, getting a +1 missile attack and the Carapace upgrade. So he is going to be adding on a lot of those Hydras, and we'll see if he's going to try and play the same sort of style that Lambo did, going for a lot of the Swarm Hosts as an answer to this.
I don't mind it. Some of these players seem to have a really hard time dealing with Swarm Hosts. But so far, I think this is where the push gets interesting, right? Hydralisks are going to come out, and that's going to shut a lot of it down. But if you can get these creep tumors, that's really, really big. It's one of the nicer things about these Raven openings, because you don't often get that many opportunities to clear the creeps. Since with Terran, you're usually dropping scans, and you don't want to do a ton of that early on. But as he continues to poke these bases, like, there's so much opportunity. Look at these Lings trying to go for the counterattack. If you're building Blue Flame Hellions, though, you are not worried about run-bys. You're like, yeah, come at me, bruh.
Yep, already got some Hellions on the other side of the map ready to intercept, but he's still going to pull back. He cleaned up most of the active creep tumors, and I know Zombie Group was talking a lot about this. The creep spread is so important for the Zerg player in these kind of situations. Being able to run down the Hellions and the Cyclones, the hypermobile mech units is so important. We end up seeing Hateme try to come in with a surround, and this is one way to maybe catch him.
Yep, being able to get an entrap on this army would be really big. The Raven might need to be compromised for the auto turrets to try and carve a path, but pretty much just loses everything there. Actually, delicious sandwich being brought to you here in the World Championship Series by Hateme. The reinforcements are there to knock it back.
Bailing's getting some good connections as HeroMarine not quite pulling back. He didn't have that high ground vision for a little bit. Well, I guess the Raven was there. But either way, still losing a handful of his units. Going to be hard to push too much further forward, but Hateme going to be really happy with that defense.
Yeah, really good. Really well done there. Upgrade for vehicle plating about to finish up. It is worth getting the +1 attack. I think it's really important. The Blue Flame Hellions are no longer two-shotting the Zerglings here. And actually getting the upgrade for the Cyclones allows them to two-shot the Zerglings with the upgrades.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
didn't know that one.
Cyclones do 18 damage by default, so they will two-hit Lings until they get the upgrades. But some people that are like, oh yeah, well you don't need attack upgrades because of lock-on. Not true. When your Cyclones don't have lock-on, it makes them way better versus Lings to have the level 1 or level 2 upgrades even further on.
Yeah, and you know in those big fights when you have this many Cyclones, you're definitely going to have some time that your lock-on's going to be on cooldown every so often.
Yes, and that's why I bring that up, is I think that some players, they talk about skimping on those upgrades. I think specifically for TvZ, you still need it. You want your Hellions to two-shot the Lings. You want your Cyclones to two-shot the Lings. Obviously, you don't want to have your Cyclones fighting Zerglings without lock-on, but at the same time, it could happen. Great catch there on the run-by.
Yeah, killing a lot of Lings there and just denying that run-by attempt entirely. HeroMarine also doing a good job controlling the south side of the map, and Hateme is starting to get up all the creep tumors. He's going for breadth of creep tumors rather than depth. So getting out on every single possible angle.
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of what you got to do with how many there have been cold this game, right? So if we take a look at what HeroMarine is doing, behind this, he's following this into Liberators. Oh, man, these Hellions are roasting and toasting them Zerglings, brah.
Got
so good.
2 Hellions, maybe a third.
No, that's really sick. So good cleanups there, good cleanups. And, you know, worth mentioning, Liberator range is going to be his follow-up. He got a Fusion Core. I thought he was panicking for a moment because he started a second Fusion Core and then canceled it. I'm like, no. Sadly, there's no reason to build another Fusion Core. I'd love a reason, though.
A second upgrade?
Yeah.
What would be that upgrade, Nate?
I don't know. How about there's like a new mechanic.
Battle cruisers finally get to use the knives.
I want a new mechanic where the more fusion cores you have, like you take like 1% off the build time of all Terrans. There you go. They're not cheap. I'm just saying.
Well, we got
look at the
intervals on the Vipers.
Interference matrix on 2 Vipers. I really like that because Abduct is so good versus these. Gets the Dorito cannon on the Hydras, which doesn't affect the lock-on damage, but it does mean that if you try to push into these Cyclones or Hellions, you're going to be taking just a little bit more heat from them.
Yeah, Hateme going to feel not super comfortable with that engagement. Decides to back off. Really didn't actually benefit him too much. Got a couple of pulls, picked off a few of those Cyclones, but expensive losses on his side as well. And now that Liberator count is getting to that scary number because just 2 waves of Liberators, and that's 10 Liberators. Just 2 waves of Liberator production is 10 Liberators.
One of the most important things you can do when you get into fights with these types of armies, by the way, is focusing on spamming the siege command for Liberators because they're going to get abducted. But weirdly enough, if you're taking like a full-on engagement and you're not getting like everything doesn't get insta-blown up by banelings on the ground, if they pull in like 6 or 7 of your Liberators, the Hydras can't kill them fast enough if they're still fighting the Cyclones as well. And just keep sieging the Liberators non-stop.
I think also if you aren't target firing down the Liberators, these Liberators that are unsieged are a lower target priority than the units actually attacking you, right?
Yep.
So there's definitely some opportunity there. The Liberator is going to do the continuous siege of this is a very micro-intensive style, by the way. So we'll see if HeroMarine is up for the task. Parasitic bombs coming down on 2 of the Liberators in the back zone.
Ooh, baby, and there's that Dorito cannon hitting the south side of the Zerg forces. That army absolutely melts.
Oh, but the Hydra's coming in from behind. The Liberators didn't really re-siege for a very long time. Cyclones are really the only thing left alive alongside maybe 3 Liberators. The reinforcements come in, though.
Wave of Hellions and Liberators, though. Ooh, Hydraless barbecue. I've changed my mind. We don't have to get Mexican tonight, Fear Dragon.
You already got satisfied now.
Yeah, I got some Hydra attendees over there.
Oh, God. A lot of these drones.
Here's some drones
This
on the
is
side.
an interesting place for the Ultra Cavern.
Yeah. I mean, if it's somewhere that doesn't make sense, the Terran would never check for it, right?
Chitinous plating finishes up. He doesn't have any Ultras started up just yet. And I don't know if he's going to. The Corruptors are getting a lot done, though.
Synergy. Break out all your buzzwords, ladies and gentlemen. Cyclones synergize with those Liberators. The Corruptors get absolutely blown to smithereens trying to defend, trying to come up and get the Liberators. They will not be able to do that. HeroMarine is going to punch his ticket out of this group. GG. And we do have a Terran in the top 8.
Wow. StarCraft is balanced, in fact, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to HeroMarine bouncing back after a bit of a rough match versus Lambo and showing that he is still quite good at StarCraft.
Pretty good at the video game.
Yeah. Big shout out to Hateme, by the way. I think he definitely impressed a lot of people with really just solid play.
Breakout performance today from Hateme. Good stuff. Liked seeing it. I loved that build he did against Uthermal with the Nidus. Yeah. And then manhandling him in the macro game, too, was just really sick. But HeroMarine definitely turned the Jets on after that Lambo series.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does mean that we are going to be finished up with Europe for today. As again, you guys can see Lambo having a very solid run through. Dropped 1 map to HeroMarine in the macro game. Game number 1 was able to turn that one back around also with the cheeses. But then we also had HeroMarine doing a good job versus Uthermal, falling down to Lambo, and then, of course, closing it out versus Hateme. So HeroMarine getting a little bit of a taste of everyone today.
Yeah. Really, that's I think the important part of WCS winter and this format was we had such a wide breadth of players coming in and competing, and I only hope to see more players like that. I do hope that we get another upset like we had with Cham yesterday in Americas.
Beating Special.
But I think another part of it, you know, the European region is just so competitive. It is really hard to topple some of these guys.
It really is. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that does mean that we are now, with being finished with Europe, we're going to be heading into the Americas section of the broadcast. That's going to be quite fun, and I emphasis on the S in Americas. As we got our Canadian Masa, also the Australian Probe, and of course, I believe the Chinese players, Firefly, as well as, oh man, I'm actually blanking on the last player now. Put myself, Coffee. Of course, Nate's Coffee. Couldn't forget. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys in about 10 minutes time with WCS Winter Americas.